Good morning. It is the 10th of December, 2019, and we're on our way to Huntington, Pennsylvania. Lady has just a few things to do: hang curtain rods, patch a hole.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not part of the work log. Sure, I'd be more than happy to install your flat panel television for you, and I'll show all my viewers right after this. When you purchase your television mount, it should come with several different sizes of bolts as well as spacers so that it can adapt universally to almost any television on the market. When you take the bolts out of the package, they come at multiple sizes. Always test fit them into your television and do not ever over tighten them. Once they're bottomed out in the TV, that's as tight as they have to go. If you go any further, you could crack the screen or a component on the inside. What I'm doing here is attaching the mounting hardware to the back of the television. At the top of the mount, I need to use a wider spacer, and at the bottom of the mount, I need to use a narrower one due to the curvature of the back of the television. The wall scanner has identified a wooden stud, and that flashing yellow lightning bolt means there is electricity in the wall somewhere nearby. I marked the location of the stud using painter's tape. We tear another piece of painter's tape, and I'm going to mark the location of the adjacent stud. Now, this particular television mount came with a pattern showing where the holes are in the actual mount, and it has horizontal lines on it that you can use to level up the piece of cardboard and then punch holes through where you want each individual bolt to go. The idea is you line it up with the studs, and then I'm using a little tiny screwdriver here, and I'm just poking through the paper into the drywall to leave a little indent so I know where to put my fasteners. If you don't have a piece of paper that came with your TV mount, then you can just hold the mount up. In fact, that's probably a lot easier, because one of the problems I ran into here is even though some of the locations were marked out as spots where I could put a lag bolt, when I got the actual television mount up on the wall, those spaces on the television mount were solid steel and you couldn't put a bolt through that location. So you're often better just using the actual unit and marking the actual locations based on seeing it firsthand. Now, a drill bit actually came with this mount as well, so I'm using the drill bit that came with it, but as long as it's a little bit smaller than the lag bolt that you're using to hold it to the wall, that suffice. And I'm drilling through the drywall into the stud so that when I drive the lag bolt in, it doesn't split the stud behind the wall.
I could do it for you if you want me to.
What's that?
They're dropping off a fridge and they're bringing it in the garage. Can I just move your van for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're not. I apologize for interrupting.
Keys are in it.
Okay. I do the same thing.
Can you feel my frustration? It's on the drawing, but it's not on the mount. They're solid. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to have to mark out the holes for where I need to put anchors. Then I'm going to need to take it off the wall. In the meantime, the one lag screw in the top right will hold this in place. It's tight against the wall, and the little cable box connection on the wall there, the cover plate of that is holding it from sliding off to the right. So I'll make sure it's nice and level, as you see, and then I will punch holes into the drywall where I need the anchors to go. Then I'll take it off the wall and I'll have to put the 150-pound anchors in. These are the drywall anchors I'm going to use. They're good up to 150 pounds each. Use your impact, and it helps if you have a starter hole, which I already do, from the punch. Screw it into the wall, and then when you push the screw or tighten the screw into the anchor, it tips a piece of metal out in the back and squeezes the front and the back of the drywall together, much like a toggle bolt. The screw head is smaller than the lag bolt head, and therefore it'll slip right through the mount. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a small washer on first, and then followed by a larger washer. This will allow it to grab the mount and tighten to the wall. I'm going to put the lag screw in first, and then I'll follow up and put these anchor bolts into the wall on the left-hand side. What I'm showing you here is an impact driver. It fits the head of the lag bolt. Now, these lag bolts do have a Phillips style indentation at the top of them. I don't recommend you use them. Often they strip out. Get yourself a ratchet with the proper size socket or an impact driver so that you can drive it in using the hexagon shape rather than the Phillips. Alright, so here we go again. I'm going to put that top right lag bolt into the stud that we pre-drilled earlier, and then I will put the anchor bolt on the left hand side in, making sure everything remains level, and then I'll put the other two in and tighten everything down securely at that point. Do not tighten any bolt so tight right now that you cannot move the mount. You need a little bit of wiggle room so you can ensure that it is completely level and plumb on the wall. It pays to check this multiple times. It just so happens to be that I had this perfectly level when I marked the holes, so it's ready for the legs and the anchors right where she's sitting. Take notice that this screw is just spinning and not grabbing anything. Now listen. It grabbed after it pulled the piece of metal off on an angle behind and drawed it closer to the back of the drywall like a molly bolt would, and then the impact kicked in and started squeezing it together, holding the mount in place. As you can see, it's nice and sturdy. The bracket on the wall does not move. It articulates. Everything works great. Let me get a further away picture so you can see what's going on here. Now, mounting a television on the wall does you no good if it isn't level. Look at that. Dead accurate. Right on the money. And that's important. Let me go get the television. Oh, I'm back already. Look at that, how quick I am. You put the television in on an angle so that the hooks catch the top. You got to find that sweet spot, and then the bottom rests in there. Now, always check behind it before you let your hands off the television, because the last thing you want to do is watch the television crash to the floor. This one is in the right place. I'm going to articulate it out, and I'm going to show you how we attach the safety brackets so that it doesn't ever fall off the mount. Now, not all mounts are created equal. This one here has a proprietary system where you take this U-shaped piece of metal, you put it over the bottom rail, and it screws into the brackets on the back of the television, preventing this TV from ever falling off the wall. It's actually quite a good security feature. I've never seen it before. Making sure all the screws are tight in both sides, and we're ready to go. Okay, this is the AC connection here. I'm going to go get the wire. This wire was wrapped up and it was tightened down with like a bread wire, like you find on a bag of bread. I saved it. This is it here. And I'm going to use it to secure the wire to the mount so it's not hanging below the television and becoming an eyesore in the room. And we'll go ahead and plug this into the AC outlet, which is off to the right-hand side of the television here. And then I will mount the wire to the back of the rail, keeping it out of sight. And then we'll give a test to the television and make sure everything functions properly. You can't see it in the video, but as I walked away, I realized that the TV was leaning back, kind of pointing up towards the ceiling. So we're going to pull it out and make an adjustment so that it tips down towards the bed, and I'm going to show you how. These little plastic handles work much like a ratchet. You have to pull them off of the nut, adjust them to where you want them. When you let go of them, the spring will pull them back onto the nut, and then you can twist it to loosen it. And then you have to readjust the plastic handle again until you get it loose or tight, depending on what application you're doing. And then you can adjust the tilt of your television using these ratchet-style plastic handles. No, look at that. You caught me in the mirror, sneaking out from under the television and holding the GoPro in my mouth. This particular television model came with these hard pieces of plastic taped to each side of the television, which was just used to assist you in lifting the television without breaking the screen. The fact that this television mount collapses inside of itself keeps the television relatively close to the wall. The gap is about 3 inches, give or take. what you see me doing here is taking the remote and the batteries out of the packaging, and we're going to test the television and make sure it powers up okay. Also, take note to the adjustment we made to the television is now got a slight downward angle, making it more comfortable to watch while lying in bed. Okay, let's hit the power on the remote here and see. Yep, Samsung QLED television. Great. Oh, you're going to bust my butt on the fact that it looks a little crooked? Here, let me fix that. Yeah, much better. It works. I'm satisfied. Let's power it down. Alright, so now you got to see how I installed that television on the wall. You got to be very careful when installing televisions on the wall that you do not run a lag screw or lag bolt or any kind of screw through a wire or water line or anything else. And these new homes, most of them use PEX plumbing, so if there's plumbing in the wall, that's the last thing you want to hit with a screw. That'll turn that $200 or $300 job into a $20,000 lawsuit quick. So you should always use some kind of a wall scanner or machine that shows you what's in the wall, so you can at least stay away from things that are at least iffy, to say the least. If you're not sure, then it's better to err on the side of caution and not do it. But anyway, that TV was not actually part of today's work order. That was something that the customer added in, and it was the first thing that they added in. We only went there for small little jobs that they wanted done, and not that the TV is a large job, but it's a lot larger than the drywall repair that they wanted, nail holes, nail pops filled, and things of that nature. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think. If you have that television mount, let me know what you think about it. It seems like it's a pretty good one. I like the way it articulates. You can turn the TV left and right. It's easy to adjust it as far as the tilt goes. In fact, I'm in the market for a TV mount, or will be very soon, and I myself will probably look up this brand. So let me know in the comments what you think. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you would. Share it with your friends on social media if you like. But at the very least, hit the little subscribe button and the bell, and you'll be notified next time I upload a video. I'll see you next time.